Alrighty everybody, I hope you're all doing well today. Welcome to a slightly different take on our outdoor gold farming series. Before we jump into it, just as always, if you've not seen the first part in the mini series where we was becoming the next Jordan Belfort, then you can find a card to that video in the upper right hand portion of the screen right now. Alternatively, you can find a link down below in the description to this video. Anyways, today's video is more of a farming video. As mentioned in the last video, we aren't exclusively investing, although we may decide to invest in some raw materials to use with our professions to turn them into a slight profit. But that is optional. We are farming out in the open world for the items we decided to invest in our previous video, as well as some extra added items also. The reason for this is because I know a few good places to make or farm these items. Also the fact that not everybody is into the whole investing idea anyway, which is fine. Whatever you enjoy, I've made sure I've appealed to you guys. Hence this video being a two-parter rather than a single video. Since we needed to invest gold in our last video, we won't need to worry about that today. In fact, with a bit of luck, we won't be spending any gold at all today. The only thing we're spending or investing is time. This video, just like our last one, is suited to everybody, although some of the items may be easier to acquire than other classes. More on this later though. Also, it is important to note that if you've made a big list of items from the last video, then I hope you have at least 2 characters with nearly maxed out professions. As we know, some of these items can be made through professions. So if we do spend gold, it would potentially be only to buy some of the raw materials, which shouldn't be too expensive. Speaking of professions, some of the items I have in today's video will require the following: enchanting, mining, cooking and first aid. Which I do have both a cooking and first aid leveling guide in the description below to this video for your convenience if you need to level them up. So why would you want to farm and craft these items anyway? Why can't we just be lazy and invest like you said in the other video? Good question. I'll be honest, you can do whatever you like. You don't have to do this or what the other video spoke about. In fact, it's entirely up to you what you do. This is just advice at the end of the day. If you're the type of person who prefers to play the markets and make money that way, that's fine. Nothing's wrong with that. As long as you're having fun, that's all that counts. The same thing goes for this version of the video. If you prefer a more hands-on approach by farming, like myself included, then great. As I say, it's a game at the end of the day. Just have fun with it. But why would we want to farm or invest in these items anyway? Well, as mentioned in the last video, these items are all related to reputation gain with the Cenarian hold in Silithus. By using these items to help you gain rep will allow you to get a hold of some of the AQ nature resistance gear, which can again in turn be crafted and sold for even more money. And they will be in high demand for that, but also the fact that a lot of people will be raiding AQ once phase 5 is released, so it is natural to assume that the price will go up, not like it was in vanilla back in 2006. There will be a lot more people doing AQ now compared to then, due to higher server population, but also with a more sophisticated way of playing the game, as well as more knowledge on the tactics. So with those facts, it's safe to say that these items could go up in value for a short while once it is here, or even a few days before it releases. We have yet to find out. Each item I listed in our last video is what I'm going to be showing you how to acquire today. The reason is because those were the cheapest to buy at the time, although there are a couple of items I can show for crafting too. I will show you each location once we get to each item, as well as give you some brief information about the item, so without further delay, here we go. Globe of Water. These can be found from any high level water elementals. The best spot I find in terms of having no competition is in the Ferrolast all around the coastline. The drop chance is around 7% according to Wowhead, although I oddly only managed to find one after an hour. And there is also a few good fishing schools around which if you collect them you also stand to make a nice amount of gold on the side too. But if you do prefer a higher drop chance, then there is always Fellwood for those water elementals instead, or alternatively the Eastern Plaguelands. Powerful Anti-Venom. These are crafted and sell for over 1 gold each currently on my server, My advice is to either farm or buy the required crafting materials though. So if you have 300 in first aid, perfect, we can make use of this right now. You will need one huge venom sac to make one bandage, and you can either buy the venom sacs for under a gold each or farm them from any high level spiders. Personally, I managed to get just one in 1 hour, which makes sense since the drop chance is under 3% in most cases. Smoked desert dumplings. Just like the anti-venom, I also have a video on how to farm these and how to level cooking, so check those out below in the description to this video. Essentially, you want to get the sandworm meat from the dread strikers and stalkers in Silithus, or buy them on the auction house and make them yourself. I personally managed to farm around 30 for the hour in this location right here. Iron web spider silk. The iron web spider silk is an easy one to farm. It drops from various spiders in the open world at level 50 plus. A good location I found was in the western Plaguelands. Typically I found 7 from an hour of farming there. I have realised that they also drop from spiders in Silithus in the exact same farming locations as the sandworm meat. So it would be highly advantageous to kill both the spiders and the worms in there instead if you're going to do that also. You then essentially getting 2 items for the same grind spot. The drop chance isn't much different from the western Plaguelands either, with them all being around 12%, which again also ties in with the powerful anti-venom bandages that you can make, as we know the spiders all drop the huge venom sacs. So if you wanted to go even further, that's technically 3 items for the same farming location. Not a bad deal in my opinion. All of the bandages that we can make, as we know, are from first aid. You can easily farm both mage weave and silk cloth from Scarlet Monastery. No exact number per hour, although after 10 resets, you'll have a lot, I can say for certain. Again, I have done multiple videos on how to farm SM as a paladin. Links to those are in the description below. Rune cloth bandages, however, as we know, are required from the rune cloth. I find mages would shine in this since they're more suited to mass AoE farming higher level mobs than a paladin. Probably Blackrock Depths is going to be your best bet at farming these. Fortunately, I will send you over to a fellow content creator on YouTube for this, Timera. He has a number of great mage videos including how to farm places like Blackrock Depths, so go check him out, it's highly recommended. Large Brilliant Shards and Large Radiant Shards are both from disenchanting blue items of the levels 55 plus and 40 to 50 respectively. This is going to require enchanting, but not to worry, you only need skill level 1 to be able to disenchant any item in the game regardless of its level. I found the best thing to do as a paladin is to disenchant all of your unused gear that have long since been replaced and save up all of the mats that you get from it. The large radiant shards are best found in both Alderman and Zul'Farrak. I would advise any level 60 in gear above MC level to do this as an easy way to farm them. In Alderman you can sneak past to the bosses that drop the higher level items. The only issue is that you'll need a group of people to get to the final 2 bosses due to the summoning stone. So essentially you're limited to at most 2 per run if you're lucky and are also solo. However, if you go into ZF, it will take you around 20 to 30 minutes to kill the bosses that drop the blues to disenchant, so that's a neat way to farm them in my opinion. This will be difficult depending on your gear or class, so be wary of this. The large brilliant shards can also come from any dungeon runs you do at max level and disenchant all of the boss loot nobody needs. As a paladin, we can't really solo too many high level bosses, although classes that regularly do diamond jump runs could take advantage of this if combined with mining. Warlocks and hunters, for example, would have a field day here of being able to solo the bosses there, and there are plenty of guides on how to do this. So any blue items that drop, simply disenchant them and save the shards. And leading on to the next item also, the huge emerald. Since you are mining the diamond jump runs, you can also have a chance to get a number of rare gems or crystals. Fortunately, the huge emerald is one of them. That can be found from the rich thorium at the end of the instance after you've downed Alzin the Wild Shaper. The powerful Mojo can be found from the high level trolls. The best place to find these and the class would be a mage in this location right here. A mage can mass AoE all of the trolls easily and find a lot of these very fast. Unfortunately, I do not have a mage at max level, so I can't say how many I was able to collect after an hour from a mage's perspective. Although as a paladin, I did try it anyway and I got one after 30 minutes of farming. And this is basically it. Those are all of the items I was able to collect and farm myself using the professions that I currently have. I could have added every item to the list, but I simply do not have enough characters at a high enough level to make the other items, such as blacksmithing for the grinding stones or tailoring for the mooncloth. I have added an extra few items compared to the last video though, so if you are a more hands-on person, then of course you could probably have the edge over someone who is outright investing. Which is good, and in my opinion is how it should be. You're essentially putting in more time after all, so you want your hard work to pay off. Understandable. As always, if you did like today's video, then be sure to give it a cheeky thumbs up. And if you've not already, then be sure to subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot if you did. But also, if you think any of your friends in game would benefit from this, then be sure to share it with them. You never know, you could work together by making use of each other's professions to become WoW millionaires in Phase 5. But until the next one, see ya.